Good morning, English 149. This is Grant, and I'm recording a video this morning to help walk you through our first feeder assignment. Now, if you look on the course requirements here, you're going to see that we have 3 feeders. They're each worth 15 points. Now, I'm not grading them on how good they are. I'm really looking for completion. And the reason why they're called feeders is these will help you complete your video project, right? Which is kind of our major assignment. Now, so the first one is due tomorrow, right before midnight. And like I said in yesterday's announcement, I have that so you can enjoy your weekend. But if you want a couple extra days, like I said, I won't be looking at these until Sunday. So if you want to take some extra days, you can. Now, a few of you haven't seen this, but there is a drop-down menu next to course requirements. It's kind of hard to see. But if you click on that, that will take you to the feeders. And you'll see the other feeders in here. But we're going to just go through the feeder one here. And I've adapted this from where I've taught in the past book cover art. And I think book cover art and fan fiction or videos works quite well as similar to one another. Now, you can approach this assignment as, if you're writing your own fan fiction, it might work better to kind of fake a book cover as your video cover, but whatever it is, it's going to be cover art for something. So that could be your fan fiction, that could be your essay, it can be your video. I just want you to start to play with some visual components of your video, and hopefully this image will be kind of the first image that you're going to use on your video. Now, I've included here a TED Talk from Chip Kidd. This is completely optional. But I thought you might find it pretty interesting. He's designed some of the most iconic book covers in the last 20 years. So if you want to, it's 17 minutes long. You can watch it. I think the one part where he talks about designing the cover for Jurassic Park is pretty interesting. But that's completely optional. That's to give you kind of some insight into cover design. Okay? So you'll notice there's 2 files linked here. One is book cover template INDD. So again, you'll see at the right-hand side here, I have InDesign open. So again, make sure that you've downloaded Adobe Creative Cloud, and you have downloaded InDesign. Now, a lot of the times it's going to be confusing. So once you've kind of installed Creative Cloud, you're going to need to sign in with your Onion, and you'll use an enterprise or school ID, not an Adobe ID. So if there's any issues, you can reach out to me or ITS, but you're going to do it from software.sites.unc.edu. I've linked this in other announcements. Okay, so you're going to order some software. We're all students, right? And you shop as a student. So usually the first one's Adobe Creative Cloud. You add that to cart and you check out. Now it's going to take them a couple days to get back to you. So make sure you're keeping that in mind. That's why I've been trying to remind you to install it. Now, I'm going to show you in this video and in this feeder to use InDesign. But if you're already using a platform that you feel comfortable with, that's fine. You can do that. The reason I'm kind of teaching you InDesign is it's the same platform that UNC Press uses. Almost every design company uses this. So this is professional grade software. So it's nice to put on your CV that you know how to use it. Okay. I also have a rubric here. Again, really basic stuff. But I'm just looking for completeness, right? And you will earn your 15 points by getting the complete. So if you click on book cover INDD, it's going to download a what we call a template. All right, so let's take a look. We're going to double click that, and that should bring it open in InDesign. Now you'll see I've given you like a very basic book cover. So you can mess around with this. Like you can do whatever you want. This heels press, I can press delete. I don't, if I don't want this text there, or this bar, I can delete that. You can delete any elements you want from here. You can reuse as much as you want. This is just to give you kind of a starting point. Now, some of you might be unfamiliar with the text that's here. You don't have to actually put text in it at all. I'm using the Lorem Ipsum, which is a series of Latin texts that a lot of companies use as filler text. So when you're trying to design something and you're not quite sure what you're going to say, but you want to look at the layout, these couple paragraphs are what's typically used. So you don't have to use text at all. You can just delete that. I've tried to give you just a template to get started with. You can also in InDesign, do a new document, and you can do it, in different ways. I can do web. And there's different layouts that you can do, and you'll see because we have a enterprise level license, you have some presentation layouts that are free. So you're more than welcome to use those as well. The other thing that you would have access to is spark.adobe.com. And if you're unfamiliar with Spark allows you to create some really great graphics for social media. It's also an Adobe product, but it's web-based. So you can use that as well. So here's how you kind of log into Adobe. So we have a school account. And if I usually put just my email address, it's gonna say, oh, okay, you're at unc.edu. It's a school account, right? And what it'll do is it'll take me to, since I'm signed in, right? And you'll see I designed our flyer for our class in here. So this is also like a really powerful product that you have access to as well. So if you feel more comfortable designing with something like this, you can definitely use it. And again, that's spark.adobe.com. Okay. All right. So we'll get that. So what we're going to do is just basically go over how you how you create a book cover like this. Okay. So say I I'm really interested in Kingdom Hearts, because I am. All right, let's look at some images. So again, typically you would be worried about copyright, but again, we're in fair use territory because this is a class. Okay, so you can download this picture, or sometimes you can just drag and drop it. And you're gonna see stuff like this is like, you can size it down. Right. So it's not so big. I'll do it even further. Oh no, there's the red. Okay. Cool. All right, so we have one picture there. Let's get another one. Let's see. Let's use a Kingdom Hearts cosplay. All right, let's see. I'd rather use something generic. All right, yeah, so let's do it. We'll do a Halloween costume because that's going to be easiest, right? All right. Okay, so we brought our image in, but we don't really like this white background, right? So the way that we're going to get rid of this white background is make sure you have the picture selected. You'll see it by like the boxes. You're going to go to Object. You're going to go to Clipping Path and then Options. Okay, so make sure that your image is selected. You're going to go in the top menu to Object, Clipping Path, Options. Okay, and underneath Type, you're going to say Detect Edges. And just leave all of those defaults the same. Okay, so you're going to press OK. And you're going to see, for the most part, it gets the that whiteout. Okay, so if you have these kind of white parts to the image, you can go back. So you want to select the image. You can go back to your Object, Clipping Path Options. And then instead of this time, you're going to go Include Inside Edges. You're going to press OK. And so that'll remove those other edges. You can fine tune it with the pen tool or something else, but this is a really easy way just to get it completed. Okay, so now that we have, let's say I'm satisfied with my images, let's look at text. I'm going to create a text box here. And so this is going to be, very similar to what you're used to in terms of font and color. So there's a bunch of fonts. You can actually get some more different types of fonts from Adobe. But you want to make sure that you're using something that's going to stand up against this background, right? So let's use Arial Black. We're going to have to crank this way up. Let's see, 36. Yeah, you can mess with that. So like that's still pretty small. Let's bring it to 60. And then, you can start to think about, do you want a color, right? Do you want to center it somewhere else so it's more prevalent. And you can start to mess with stuff like opacity of the background, right? Like I can make the background like a little, a little opaque, so it really makes this text pop some more, right? So, if you look under today on the schedule, you're gonna see, I tried to give you some other, if this video isn't great, you have other ways of doing this. So, you can use this tutorial here. You can also I give you a UL design guide. There's a tutorial that you can take online. But what I want you to do is to begin work on a book cover. And then I also want you to, read an existing fan fiction cover. And we'll go over kind of close reading of visual art tomorrow. But I want you to kind of look at an example and see, is it something that I want to emulate? If not, what could be improved on it? And if you need a refresher on close reading, I have that linked in today. So how to close read, and it has to do with your reading responses, but you can use it for these book covers as well. Okay, and again, you don't need to use Adobe InDesign. If there's a design app that you like better, that's fine, but I thought I'd show you just a few things on here. Now, when you're ready to turn this in, I want you to export this, and you can just do it as an Adobe PDF print, and you can name it something like Kingdom Hearts. We'll do that in Dylan's. All right. So there's a bunch of different options here. You don't need to worry about them. You just export. Okay. So then when you're ready to turn your feeder in, please, do not give me the InDesign file. Export it as PDF or JPEG, some other file format. And so you'll this is in Submit Feeders here. And so you'll put your name, email, and then you'll throw in a file here. So you'll see Kingdom Hearts PDF, you choose it, and then you submit. Okay. So please let me know if there's any questions. And feel free, to get creative with this assignment. Again, I am not essentially grading it for, how good it is, but I am grading it for completion. And just make sure that you're using clearish images when you're doing this, so it doesn't get pixelated. Okay? Well, thank you. Have a wonderful morning and day. Have fun with this project. Remember, if you're less comfortable with InDesign, because I understand it is a complex piece of software, and you're more comfortable with using something else, please do that. I don't want to make this harder for you, but I also want to show you, here's some software that professionals use. So hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you all tomorrow on Thursday. Now remember, we do not have class on Friday. So Thursday's homework is going to be due Monday by 11, with the exception of Feeder 1, which you should turn in on Thursday night, worst case Sunday morning. Thank you.